Hello. I know some of you are going to think I'm fixated on Joe Biden right now because I'm going to make another video about him. Well, first of all, I was asked to talk about Biden, well, to talk about the diesel shortage actually, by a subscriber. So that's part of the reason. But it's not that I'm fixated on Biden, but look, if you're actually standing in front of a dam that's bursting, there's not much else to talk about, is there? And I'm sitting here watching a dam. At first it was a lot of little cracks and then a few tiny leaks, and now I'm witnessing a gushing of water that's going to drown the USA. And that sort of thing can't go unnoticed over here either. So you bet I have very little else to talk about right now, except for telling you, oh, how about that for a segue? Except for telling you that I'm Granniopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I let you know when I've uploaded a new video on @Granniopteryx on Twitter, Gab and Parler. YouTube tend not to notify, so might be worth subscribing to one of those. You can help my channel by liking, sharing and subscribing, and you can help me financially. Buy me a coffee or one of the other links below. All right, back to Biden. Biden's administration has been characterised by appalling incompetence, unimaginable incompetence of just about every member I get to see. Obviously, people in the USA might see others who are very competent, but I get to see people like the press secretary, what's her name, Karine Jean-Pierre, who always talks as if she's a kindergarten teacher. I've never seen anyone talk like that to press before. And then, of course, there's the Vice President, Kamala Harris. And I quote, Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. You can see the illustrations in the pop-up book, can't you? Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. Well, all right, yeah. She was talking to children when she said that, or young people anyway, so perhaps I'm being a little unfair. How about when she's talking to adults? I am here, standing here on the northern flank, on the eastern flank, talking about what we have in terms of the eastern flank and our NATO allies, and what is at stake at this very moment. What is at stake this very moment are some of the guiding principles. Right. And it's this sort of person in charge of keeping Americans warm, fed and safe in their own homes. And that, by the way, isn't a nasty comment about the Pelosi's. Whatever I think of Nancy, I wish her husband a good recovery. Let's get back to the diesel, should we? The USA is running out of diesel. The USA running out of a petrochemical. I mean, that's like a carry-on film running out of double entendre. And the MSM isn't saying that much about it. And what I have seen, well, that's not been the fault of the government. Yes, it's the fault of COVID. Now, over here, gas is the usual cooking and heating fuel. And despite the difficulties all the European governments have been faced with, including their own incompetence, just going for the Russian monopoly with their gas. But even so, they have strategized the gas supplies. Many of these countries don't produce their own gas and they've had to buy in, but they did it. And now they have enough at least to see themselves or to see us all through the winter. And America has 25 days of diesel left. How is that possible in the USA? Oh, by the way, it's not just diesel. It's jet fuel too, according to Forbes. But you see, this is what Forbes says. The primary reason is the cut-off of Russian imports. Prior to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the US was importing nearly 700,000 barrels per day of petroleum and petroleum products. Most of those imports were finished products and refinery inputs that boosted distillate supplies in the US. And again, I ask, how? I thought the USA was self-sufficient in all sorts of fuel. Also, by 2020, the use of coal had fallen dramatically. This was under nasty old Trump, by the way. It had fallen from 1,800 billion kilowatt hours in 2004. That's not Trump. But it had started to go, it was going down, and then by 2020 it was down to 800 kilowatt hours, and the steepest continuous decline was between 2016 and 2020. Do I hear praise for Trump on that? No, but after 2020 it started going up again. Do I hear criticism of that for, do I hear criticism of Biden for that? No. In fact, Yale Climate Connections blames it on COVID. And by the way, the coal has also increased pollution by several, I think about 12%, something really quite spectacular. Do I hear much about that in the papers? Are they headlines in the New York Times or Washington Post or whatever? No. Biden's government has nothing to do with that, of course. There might be a silver lining, of course. The wokerati might not be that concerned about diesel. Those truckers could harness their kids to the front bumpers of their trucks and get the kids to pull them, so far as the Thunbergians are concerned. In fact, they'd probably prefer that. But things might start to get a bit heated when the Thunbergians can't get their supplies of Ecuadorian bananas because there's no jet fuel to fly them over. Okay, I'm Granniopteryx, holding out some hope for a more sensible future. Till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Granniopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.granniopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.